In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good night, everyone, and get ready because it's time for the late chip at the video store.
Oh, Mike, it's my Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So theoretically, it should be one of 2 days I don't need to set an alarm for. But I do it. I do it for the show because I love hanging out with you guys. But that intro just puts the biggest smile on my face. It gets me all geared up. It's just, yeah, I've quickly come to adore my Saturday mornings. It's Friday and I'm like, I can't wait for late shift at the video store, seeing yourself, seeing who we're going to get. How are you going today?
I'm doing good. I feel the same way that this is a great, for me, night. I always enjoy Friday nights because this is our 6th episode, so we've been doing this for 6 years. We've been going on a long time. I think it's been worth it.
Absolutely. I can't believe that, I've been at the video store for 6 shifts now, and every Friday night just seems to be so quiet that we get to talk to our friends. I mean, it's bad for business, guys. I did think, though, and we might need to get a different banner going, I forgot to mention to you, I've been a horrible video store co-worker because not once have I told anyone to buy our shit.
That is true. So what we need
Let's
to do
get
with
that-
that is we need to change that. Buy our shit.
Buy our shit.
We got all kinds of new shit up there, including the late shift at the video store merch.
Very good. So I can't see any comments yet, so I don't know who we've got going because I always like to say some good mornings first before we get started.
We got a couple
really
people
enjoyed
watching,
going.
so comment below.
Let us know you're here. We can say hi, and then we'll get stuck into the topic because this topic is one I've been really keen for. We got John. Morning, John.
There we go. Hey, what's up, man?
This topic, because we want to do something movies, and we're like sports movies is a genre I've grown up with in a sense because my mum loves sports movies, and I think it's because she really connects to.
It's true.
I think she really connects to
Hey, what's up,
like
man?
that overcoming the odds type story. My mum's like she'll cry at any movie watching. So like, especially if it's a sports movies and it's a team overcoming all the odds, make it to the end. But we had a real tricky time wording the question.
Yeah.
Because victory didn't seem right because not every sports movie you watch, the team that you're rooting for or following throughout wins even not at the end, like wins throughout the film. So that's difficult. So we decided to go with greatest sports showdown. So even if the team doesn't win at the end, like the example that I'm going to pick, it's been building the whole way. It's a great head-to-head. So one of my all-time favorite films would be A League of Their Own. I really have. This is one that was always on TV. It felt like, so I would always catch it. And I love anything in that 1940s vintage retro feel. I love that style of music, and I love the makeup and costumes and all that sort of thing. So, and this story about women and sport is just always one that's really stuck with me throughout my life. I really like it. So we follow Gina Davis and her character of Dottie and her kid sister Kit. I think it's Laura Petty. And I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child. But like this movie, you can feel that sibling relationship throughout. Like Kit's the little sister who just is always envious of Dottie. Dottie's got it all sort of thing, and is the one that's beloved and admired by everyone. She feels a bit overshadowed. So when it comes to the end and Kit's being traded baseball teams and, it's the final pitch, Dottie's the catcher. She goes up and talks to the pitcher like, I think it's high balls or something. Like she can't not swing at a certain ball, like get her out. And it's 2 strikes. the third pitch comes and Kit hits that home run. So it's a different team than the Rockford Peaches that we've been following throughout, but it's that sisterly bond that comes together at the end. So I think that's a great showdown. It's a great build and climax wrap up to the film. So what do you think of League of Their Own?
Oh, I love League of Their Own, and I think it's a perfect pick for one of those because it's also a victory for Kit. Because the whole movie, in a way you're following Dottie, but in a way we're also following Kit as well. So you get to finally see Kit do what she needs to do to kind of come out of the shadows of her sister. Even if with that ball drop, you can go either way. Did she drop it on purpose? Did she not drop it on purpose? Like it can go either way, but either way, Kit gets out of the shadow of her older sister.
Mike, do you want to chuck our link up and we'll get some customers in our video store?
Yes, let's get there right now.
But I've got another one, but I don't want to take it just in case someone else takes it, because that's the only other thing I always feel bad. I'm always going to take two, but I'm like, I just want to leave one on the table just in case. I feel really bad. But in the chat, let us know what are some of your greatest sports showdown. We've got the link there.
Yeah,
so
click the link and you can come on in.
And Mike, do you want to give us your answer?
Oh, yeah. So for me, I went to the ultimate showdown. No other showdown counts for this. Cody knows what I'm talking about. Is Jimmy the King versus DDP. Triple cage match. Ready to rumble. It's the only showdown that counts. It's fucking incredible. You got on the line $1 million in the championship. And also, as Jolie Pan says, one man's life is on the line. As he gets to the top, Sting comes in and helps Jimmy King win it for not only sports entertainment, but for us as well. This is why it's the greatest showdown of all time.
Thanks, David. Mike, I'm not going to lie. That was a lot of words that didn't make sense to me, but I appreciate your pick.
Yeah, it's definitely not a movie that's well regarded in this community, but me and Cody know it.
Oh, yeah, so
a great pick as well.
Alan loves basketball, and he's got a Beers jersey, and he's like, that's what you should wear today because it's a very niche pick. And I'm like, well, you have not been watching our community because who do we have up first, Mike?
Yeah, John?
I would agree that Basketball is a fantastic movie. It actually is the greatest movie ever made. However, there's no real showdown in that movie because the Bears are the most dominant team to ever play, not only in basketball, but in movie trivia. So we know that already. But I would have to say, first of all, women playing sports, how rich? What do they think of next? But also, the greatest showdown ever in a sports film, and we all know this, and we could just stop the call after this. It's when Daniel fights Johnny in The Karate Kid. That is the greatest showdown ever in a sports film. And if you are an American male that was born in the 70s or 80s and you don't cry ugly tears when Daniel hits the crane kick, you're a robot and should be exterminated. That's exactly how I feel.
That crane kick is definitely like, you do this to anyone and they know what you're talking about, like big pop culture moment.
And the music just swells and he smashes Johnny's nose into his brain and everyone starts crying. That's exactly what's supposed to happen.
So where do you come down on it's an illegal move? Because I didn't think of that until I watched How I Met Your Mother, and obviously Barney Stinson loves who's the rival in it? Sorry,
Johnny Lawrence.
Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah, robbed Johnny Lawrence.
It's not an illegal move. I think that's. I mean, it's a kung fu move, but I don't think it's illegal. The referee was there. The referee's call is final. He had plenty of time to go. Put your foot down. He didn't do it. He let it go. That's it. You got to trust your officials. You can't undermine your officials, right? That guy had a mustache too. The referee had a mustache, so obviously guys with mustaches know about sports, right, Mike? You know.
Yeah,
that's it.
Mike, what are your thoughts on Karate Kid?
See, I ugly cried because, of course, Johnny loses, and Johnny should win because he is a hero of Karate Kid, and Daniel is the ultimate bully, as we all know. John knows it to be true as well. We all know it.
Daniel took his bullying to other continents in later parts of the series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
John, thank you for coming on and giving us your amazing answer this
Thanks for having me, guys.
John.
Later.
Oh, that's great. And it's true, like Karate Kid is one of the first ones like comes to mind because it is one of the best and greatest. Like it's amazing. You've been building up that whole way of the film. You've been seeing Miyagi teaching Daniel everything. So then when that crane kick comes, it's just such a good payoff. Mike, who do we have?
We got David.
How are you, David?
You are muted, David.
Hold on. Hi, how you
There
doing?
we go.
Okay.
I'm happy to be here. How you doing? How's everybody?
Great. Question of the day. What's the greatest showdown in a sports film?
So there was a lot to pick from, really. I mean, you could pick like Apollo versus like Rocky, like the obvious ones. But I picked a movie from my childhood that I absolutely love. Rookie of the Year, Henry Roland Gardner versus Hito from the New York Mets. This is the big game. Winner goes to the playoffs. Henry just like lost his magic arm before this. Like he can't pitch anymore like a regular, fastballer. So he has to do like a normal kid against Hito, the very first hitter that he, like pitched against his first game, would hit a home run on him. Now he has to play him again. So like this is the big stakes, like he managed to get like two strikes before, like a changeup and like foul ball. And the last strike he needs, he finally realizes like the parent that he always thought was the big like all-star player was actually his mom, not his father. And it's a big moment. He reveals that, and then the mom from the crowd like tells him the secret way to strike him out is to float it. And it's like it leads to this big slow motion, like the music swells up, this great classic moment in the sports where he strikes him out with the floater. So yeah, there it is. I just love this movie a lot.
Oh, I love it. It's one I'm familiar with the title, like from like seeing it on DVD and whatnot, but I haven't seen it yet because like even I'm trying to think, I'm like, is any of that ringing any bells that I've caught it on TV or anything? But it sounds great. Mike, have you seen Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, actually, this didn't even come up in my mind. It is a good showdown because you get that emotional beat of him looking at the glove and pulling that piece off and just seeing that it was his mom the entire time. And you get that little moment. You get to know that his arm is finally back to normal, so he doesn't have that power anymore. So he has to use the floater, and it's perfect because you have the dude's tongue come out. You got the Michael Jordan move. The tongue comes out. You think he's going to smash it, and then completely whiffs the shit out of it.
Dude, Hito's one of the greatest like underrated sports villains of all time. Like,
he's fucking great.
Yeah, it's great. I love that movie. Yeah, Daniel Stern directed it. It's a great movie. Gotta watch it.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, David, thank you so much for coming on and giving us your answer this morning.
All right, thanks
for having David.
That's great. Well, good. I was wondering what's going to be like some of the more popular sports that we saw be brought up. So it's 2 for baseball so far, 1 for karate, 1 for wrestling. Because when we changed it to Showdown as well, it really opened up what kind of sports you could count. So like I would count things like anything racing. So if you wanted to say Ford v Ferrari or Ricky Bobby, like, Talladega Nights, all that, like anything in that vein. And then one I was thinking of, can you bring up Ella's comment? Because I can't help myself.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Space Jam it's just like a cultural rite of passage for us in the 90s, I think it was. It's like, true. It's not like I can defend it nowadays, but it just was the thing to absolutely love, and I still love it now. The concept is mind-blowing. Like, Michael Jordan and the Looney Tunes versus these little alien guys, and if they lose, Michael Jordan's going to go to, is it Monster Mountain or something like that?
Monster, yeah, it sounds all right. Monster Mountain
or something, and he's going to have to play basketball chained up against aliens for like the rest of his days. So only the Looney Tunes and him can face off, and they do the Michael Jordan's got his magic drink, and it's basically the placebo effect because it's just water.
Yes.
And all the Looney Tunes start playing it up. We got Bill Murray coming out of nowhere which made no sense to me as a kid. And now I watch and go, oh shit, it's Bill Murray. Like, I don't get it, but it's amazing. You get the Pulp Fiction moments, like you get all those Looney Tunes cross-culture pop moments, which are really good. And then we just mentioned before, you get the Michael Jordan tongue, that big stretch, slam dunk. That is an all-timer. Moral Mountain, thank you so
there
much.
We go. Thank you,
it's the Monstars, Moral Mountain. Appreciate that. But that's a good one as well. And even like surprisingly, as I said, Talladega Nights before, you got things like my dad. I asked straight away. He's like, "Oh, something like Blades of Glory." Like he has to go with like any of like in your comedy sports. You don't think about that as being a good showdown. But another one of my all-time favorite films would be Happy Gilmore.
Oh,
so we reference
shoot him again.
A lot, but when Shooter McGowan finally gets his comeuppance, that whole last half of that tournament, of when Happy and Shooter are finally going against each other, it's just after Shooter's bid for Grandma's house wins the auction, so they're going to do 8 pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You piece of shit for breakfast? No, it's great. But you've been having that rivalry throughout. And so when it comes down to it, and Happy's actually being able to play with skill, and you get Happy's old boss, and he has to tee off that. So then Shooter McGowan has to tee off his old boss's shoe. So when it comes down to the last hole, all the radio towers falling over, and Happy has to
jackass guy.
Yeah, oh, you jackass runs into the tower, and that falls over.
He's running away, going jackass.
So having Happy use his hockey putter and sink the hole and win the house at the end, like I think it's a great little wrap up to what that rivalry is. Oh, Shooter running off with his jacket, being chased down by everyone. So I think that's a great showdown. Mike, what was one of your other ones you had?
Oh, I have another great. It's actually another basketball one too. It's funny that basketball keeps coming up, but it's for good reason. They got a lot of matchups there. It is the Duck and King versus Billy Hoyle from White Men Can't Jump. Sidney Dean and Billy Hoyle. A fucking great street basketball movie. It's so hilarious. Though Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson are so great together. They have such great chemistry. And at the end, the whole thing is leading up to them talking about one of the greatest street duos, which is the King and Duck Johnson. And you finally get to see them play at the end against each other. And the whole thing about the movie is that Wesley Snipes does not respect Woody Harrelson whatsoever. He thinks of him as just a hustler. He doesn't think he can slam dunk, which is another big thing. And at the end of the movie, during the final matchup between those four, he throws it up at the end, and you have the crescendo of the music hit when Woody Harrelson jumps in the air and alley-oops the fucking thing into the hoop. One of the greatest moments, biggest smile on his face of getting it, and they finally, you can say at that moment, they finally become friends and brothers of the movie, like they've been trying to the whole movie. They finally come together. It's such a great moment, and it's such a great basketball game that goes back and forth. One's ahead, the other's ahead. It's very close the entire game up until the end. It's so fantastic. But you bringing up also, there was another one that was brought up here that John kind of mentioned, and Alad, which is basketball.
Oh yes, sorry, we didn't even get to talk about it. Baseball, yes. Which
is also, like John said, they are pretty dominant throughout the entire thing. The only thing that they get beat by is, I can only remember the team name that they get beat at the beginning, and that's when the team owner dies by choking on a hot dog, and he gets psyched out because of that. And at the end, they finally get to face the team again, and they finally get their victory over them. So I would consider that a rivalry between the two. Yeah, good showdown rivalry, that they get their final showdown at the end by doing like the Cartman voice and a couple other things to finally get the win. It's amazing.
Underrated soundtrack, that movie as well.
Yes.
Great soundtrack.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack is incredible.
Mike, do you want to check that link in the chat? Guys, make sure you jump in. Come on, give us your answer. Let us know what you think is the greatest showdown in sports films. We've talked about a few already, but there's so many great choices. I don't care. I'm ready to take my one off the table. Similar to what David's saying, it's like, this is a childhood favorite. This is what I've grown up with. It's Ducks. Okay, it's not Ducks versus Hawks that I'm going to go with. It is Team USA versus Team Iceland. So technically Ducks because they do it at the end because Coach Gordon Bombay gives one hell of a speech. Gordon Bombay, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Like when he starts going around, where are you from? Let's all come together and ducks fly together. Like you say, if you say that to people, they get what it means. Like it goes straight to your heart, I think.
Yeah.
Ducks fly together. I think that's such a great showdown. You've had Iceland just being this dominant team all the way throughout, and Team USA really struggling and needing and fighting and then coming together and everything. And then it comes down to the shootout right at the end. Chuck and Julie Gaffney, women in sports again, women in sports saving the day. And you get that last Icelandic shootout, and she catches in the mitt and just drops it. It's so good. So, and then you get the team skating around with the USA flag. I'm like, I'm not USA, but like I feel proud in that moment. I'm like, yay, you guys, you did it. Like, so yeah, D2 is just one of my favorites. But Ducks vs Hawks from the first ones as well, because you're getting it on that local level as well. You're just getting like local teams, and Bombay teaching Charlie the Triple Deke, I think it is, and whatnot. Yes. So hockey movies, very interesting, very interesting.
And you get that great rivalry between Bombay and the coach.
Icelandic coach? Both coaches, sorry. Yes.
You get him as his kid. When he was a kid, he was coached by the same guy, and he was very disappointed in him missing the shot. And you get to finally see it come back, and you get to finally see him beat him. And the dude is just heartbroken being beaten by his old player. And then the Icelandic coach, which is great, the dentist stance.
The dentist, that's right. Yeah. And he takes him out with that hockey stick on his bad leg when they do the playoff match.
He's messing with him the whole time. Like, it's hilarious that he's kicking the hell out of him the entire little thing they have there. And then the only way you can get him is by hitting him in the leg and his bad knee.
Okay. Rocky and Apollo's also, you say Showdown. I think that's one that really comes to mind as well. Like the Rocky franchise. It's not my franchise, it's not my favorite. So this statement here, very surprised from Alec because he's not a sports person. I don't know if he's seen a Rocky. So Mike, can you please give us a rundown of what is the greatest Rocky showdown and why, in your opinion?
The greatest Rocky showdown would probably be Rocky and Apollo. And I would Drago is good, but in 4 he's very one-dimensional. He's just I am going to kill you, basically. Like that. And Apollo has more to it. He has stuff to prove. The whole thing is that they're basically calling him. He's just going against like the guys he can just kick the hell out of, and he doesn't have any what's the word? He doesn't have any challenges left. And that's when you bring in Rocky, and it gives him an actual challenge, and that's when it goes to the second one where they get to have their rematch against each other.
Good. Mike, we've got a customer.
Yes,
bring in our customer, please. And great picks from David there. It's Tony!
Tony!
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How are you going?
I'm doing good. So,
very
good. I just hopped on. I don't know if this movie's been mentioned yet, so if it has, forgive me. But you got to go with the Yankees and the Indians in Major League.
It has not been brought up yet.
I mean, that final game at the end of the movie is as tense a baseball game as that has ever been filmed. And you got Wild Thing coming in to close it out. You got Jake calling his shot but then pulling the bunt with Willie Mays Hayes stealing third and then scoring on the bunt. It's just a beautiful game. So, but yeah.
Great choice. I've only seen Major League the once, so I don't have the play-by-play in my head ready to go. But I did really enjoy it. And yeah, baseball is just makes for really good sports movies. There's something about it that they just make a good way of building the teams. And when that final match comes, it's always so enthralling. Mike, what are your thoughts on Major League?
Oh yeah, I love this movie, and it is a great choice as one of the greatest showdowns because you get all of their personal things coming up throughout it. You get the Wild Thing and what's his face?
Corbin Burns and
Can't think of his
Dorn.
Yeah, Roger Dorn. There we go. You get their little tip that they're going on, and that comes into it at the end where he thinks he's gonna basically kick his ass on the field.
Yeah.
When he comes up to him, and then you get the you also get I just forgot his name too, catcher. Right, you just
Jake
brought
Taylor.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Taylor. You get his thing of going. Is he done? Is this a final thing for him? And he gets his final moment where he knows he's not going to be able to hit it, but if he bunts, he can maybe outrun the player, and he can get the home run. It's so perfect.
Yeah, it's just it's a funny ass movie, and it's one of the best sports movies there is. So just had to show it some love.
Oh, it's perfect, man. It's a great choice you got there.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for coming on and giving us your choice, Tony.
No problem.
Love it.
Have a good one, Tony.
I love when people are like, I'm just jumping on. Like, that's my absolute most favorite part. We had first VIP customer of the night last week, and that's what we're going to hope to keep doing. Is that if you give us our favorite answer of the night, it might just be a moment, it might be the best answer, it might just be one we weren't expecting. Criteria is going to be changing. It's just going to be whatever Mike and I walk away and go, that was great. Like, that's what we're going to pick. So last week we had Payson calling from his car as he got off work and giving us everything about Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I loved it. So make sure you are following us every week and you have your chance to jump on and be the VIP of the night. We have a late customer here. Who do we have?
When we have John, Will is somewhere in the background.
Will, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Just waiting for the link to drop for another match here. But
well, I'm glad we can be the thing you pass your time with. Much appreciated.
Hey, I had to give an answer for this because I think this answer probably has not been given, so I had to do it.
Let's go. What do you got?
Jamaica versus the Swiss in Cool Runnings.
So very good. I was thinking Cool Runnings, but because when we talked earlier in the show, we talked about not every team has a victory. And this is my absolute most prime example of a team. We can't say what's the greatest victory, but it can absolutely be a showdown with the Swiss. Why do you think Cool Runnings? Give us your answer.
Just because I think of all the rivalries that there were, and there's just something just so dynamic about this rivalry because not only does all the people in Jamaica want the Jamaican team want to beat them, but then he thinks, well, they're winning, so maybe we should integrate what they're doing into our thing, which is confusing the hell out of everybody. Which and then they realize, oh, let's just do our own thing, and then they come out to be a stronger team for it. There's something beautiful about that.
Absolutely, there is. And it's so intimidating, like when they see the Swiss practicing, like they're just such a well-oiled machine, and they have like a real beautiful cinematic moment of the Swiss like pushing their bobsled, and like it's all cold and atmospheric. Like that sticks out in my brain from that film, and like it's not the Jamaican team, but like that part there is fantastic.
And the fist fight between them, between the two teams in the bar is hysterical. So
yeah. Absolutely. Mike, what are your thoughts on Cool Runnings?
Oh, yeah, I love this movie. And we had talked about it off camera that this was definitely a choice up there. And I love the fact that at the end, it's just them holding it up and walking. And they finally get the respect from everybody that so rightfully deserved from the beginning. But they finally get that respect by just finishing the race, by holding it up and just walking it in. It's so amazing. It's just a great way to end it. And John Candy is fucking incredible in the movie. I love John Candy so much.
I love it. Will, thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Good luck with your match, Will.
And it's really funny because I talked before about like my mum really loves sports films, but the other thing is that they make sports films very accessible from a young age. I think Disney produced a shit ton of really good sports films because we've talked about Mighty Ducks, we've talked about Cool Runnings. Aled, mentioned Angels in the Outfield. He called it Mr. Angel, and I had to pick up what the hell that was, Mr. Angel. Like, do you mean Angels in the Outfield? Yeah, that one. We are not a sporty family, but yeah, there was just always, even like later on ones. I loved $1 Million Arm with John Hamm.
Yes.
I really liked that one. Even The Greatest Game Ever Played with Shia LaBeouf and the golf.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's really good accessible kids sports films. And we haven't even talked like we mentioned comedy ones, but you've got like The Benchwarmers, Bad News Bears. Like, there's
Bad
so
News
many
Bears,
out
that's
there.
another great one of the underdog.
So many great
story.
ones out there. We might have time for one more customer. So if you're watching us and haven't been on yet, make sure you click the link. Where's our link, Mike? There it is.
Also, we have My Glory Road, another Disney one that dealt a lot with race, with everything.
Oh, yes. We haven't talked any football films. David and I are this. I swear to God, as soon as I say something, he is there. We are tonight. We have not talked any football films. We haven't talked like Any Given Sunday. We haven't talked We Are Marshall, Remember the Titans, anything like that.
We Are Marshall has one of the greatest ones where they have to do it off screen because it's so horrible. They finally win their match and then they go, but then they lost the championship match 6-66. And I went, no wonder they couldn't end the movie with that match, because what the fuck? Like, why even have that on there? It makes no sense to even put that on there. Yes, Miracle. Kurt Russell.
Miracle. When you talked about the coach from Champions Mighty Ducks and Bombay, there's also like funny rivalries with opposite coaches, because I think of like Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell. Is Will Ferrell secretly like a sports? You've got Talladega Nights, semi-pro, Kicking and Screaming. Is he like a sports person?
He may be. I don't know if he. I know he's done a couple like fun things with the NBA, but I don't know if that was just to do with semi-pro at the time. But yeah, he could be a sports person deep inside.
But yeah, I've seen Kicking and Screaming a fair bit, so I don't mind that one with him against his dad. And then the other one, I haven't seen in forever and a day, but someone's going to mention it's Little Giants.
Yes, Little Giants, yeah.
That goes off. So
you got the fridge.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what no one's mentioned yet? The Sandlot.
Yes.
So many good sports movies there.
And you have the Showdown in there. And
you have the Showdown.
And the dog.
So maybe we'll have to hit sports movies another time, because like all these, someone needs to come on and say them better than I can say them. Mike, I think we're going to close up for the evening.
Yeah.
But thank you so much to everyone who jumped on tonight. It absolutely makes our day. We love it. We'll be back with one last comment from David, because I hadn't thought of any boxing ones. Boxing's another one that could we've talked a little bit with Rocky, but Cinderella Man. Beautiful. Warriors, one that needs to come up one time. Yes. Someone needs to come and speak about that. Absolutely. But that'll do us for this evening. Make sure you join us next week. We'll have a new topic. Thank you so much to everyone who comes on and joins us in the comments. And make sure you see us in our Facebook page. We post the topic about 24 hours before. We'd love to see your interaction involvement on there. It tells us what topics we're sort of hitting on that you guys want to see, what's going to interest you guys. Mike, any final words?
We also, you mentioned earlier, VIP, yes, we'll put that every Monday. I know it went on Tuesday this time, but it'll be every Monday. Right after the weekend, we'll post that, including the repeat of the episode. So if you miss the episode, you'll get another chance to watch it. But, we got one more comment coming in. There we go. Yo, Multiplex, yo, come on in. Yo, us in person. Give us an answer.
We can keep our doors open a little bit longer. We can stay behind shift. I'm going to charge you overtime for this, Mike.
Yes, of course, you would have to. I'm thinking that might be Cody, because Cody did say he may show up, but it could be Boatman.
Oh, if anyone shows up, are we clicking links? How are we going?
We'll give you 10 more seconds, Mr. Yo, and then we will be out of here.
Cars revving up. I got my keys in my hand. I'm ready to go.
We also mentioned your Disney podcast. Always go check out your shit.
Yes, please go follow me on Doing Disney on Spotify, Apple, any Ivy. That's another thing that's just been bringing so much joy into my life and has been, really lovely. Anything?
Matt, I guess we will be out of here.
We're just getting a yo.
Thank you, yo. We will see
We'll
you
see
next
you
week.
next
Maybe you'll
week.
get, hey, how are you doing on the next one? Thank you.
We'll get full sentences next time.
Have a good
Thanks,
one,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
And we're clear.